How many times do you guys think I'm just gonna like smile whenever I do this? Oh man, I can't believe we're already done with 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Good golly. Oh man, it's a long time. Long time. Hope everybody had a good week 6 within the league. Yeah, hope I got a pretty good little show for you guys prepared. Again, week 6 is behind us. It's done. No more of that week to go on to deal with. Look, I'm saying this because I'm not sure if you guys watch with interest other teams much. But I don't think I hit a home run till like Friday. That's pretty upsetting to watch, to say the least. Granted, had a pretty good weekend, but okay, I didn't hit a home run on Friday. I hit one on the first one I hit was on Thursday, and that was by the grace of God because I just traded for Justin Upton. So yeah, it was a long few days. Now, don't think, I'm trying to look and see, but I'm pretty sure I ended the weekend off with Robbie. Okay, so I got one home run from Schiebler, and that was actually what ultimately made the win 9-1. So it was a long 2 weeks with only a few home runs. People were knocking home runs out like crazy, and I'm sitting back like praying for a home run, doing a home run dance. We're down here and trying to do a rain dance, and I'm doing home run dances, trying to get those. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Mike was one out away from not getting 27 innings. 1 out. And of all people, Drew Pomeranz, who's been doing fairly well for Boston, gets pulled after 3 innings. Who'd have thunk it, right? So, again, rules are rules. And by default, all the pitching stats go to Ray. So, Ray won that matchup 7-2. So, here's the Ray. Mine and Nick's matchup came down to, yet again, last game. Double header between Yankees and Astros. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head like, here it goes. It's 9-1. Matt Holliday hits a home run. 8-1. And then Jose Altuve gets on base, but then they took him out. I don't know what happened to him, but they took him out of the game and put in Marwin Gonzalez. I don't get it. He's one of the fastest players in baseball. And they took him out for speed or something. I don't know if he was just tired. Little guy, something. I don't know. And then, of course, Starlin Castro comes up, bottom of the 9th. What was it, 2 men on? Hits the ball, gets an RBI. I'm like, Jesus. So that was a good matchup, Nick. Despite what the score says, my butthole was clenched for a better part of it. So, and rightfully so, you still retain your 6th place. Had I beat you 9-1, Reader or Ray would have jumped into one of those top 6 spots. But that is not the case. It's not how it went down. So, whatever. Now, before I get into a little bit of the show, I've actually tied in, I know, right? I've tied in a topic that I want to discuss with the oops of the week. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I was actually able to tie it in. And it just kind of fell in my lap this way because the topic that I was going to talk about came first. And then I looked up the oops and I was like, oh, this will be good. So your top 6 teams after week 6 are still again Rally Monkeys, Trippin' Billies, D's Nuts, Swingin' Low, Wartime Consigliere, and DL Queen. So again, Reader right down there, jumping up there. Good matchup, by the way. Shane and Reader. Good matchup. That was good. Very fun to watch all the way up until the end. I bet Billy, or excuse me, Shane, I bet your butthole was clenching a little bit. Like, dang, am I fitting to lose? But, man, you got a beast of a team, man. You know it. Eric, again. Oh, man, how did we get to this point, Eric? How did we make all these trades with you and you just have, like I told you a couple of days ago, via the text, you got a good team, man. There's no denying it, and you're going to be all modest about it, I'm sure. And putting Chris Sale on your team, yeah, might make it even better, but I'm not fitting to do that. I do not. Nobody needs to make any more trades with you. You are the me of last year. You've just got some stupid players on your team that are just you almost don't even need Mike Trout. I mean, golly. I just, Joey Votto's hanging out there just quietly ranked in the top 10. You got Bryce Harper, number 1 player, 40 runs, 12 home runs. He'll be mentioned next week, passing Ryan Zimmerman and Thames, no doubt about it. No doubts. He's got an on-base percentage of 500. It's just, you know it, stupid numbers. And, of course, I guess Trey Turner just belongs on your team, doesn't do shit for me, comes back on your team and just starts hitting home runs again. And Manny Machado quietly rising back to the top. He's now 87th, and just if any expert was to look at your team right now, they would be like, this is the team. This is a team. Okay? Yeah, Chris has his own little antics of being able to switch out multiple positional players and rides out with 2 pitchers and 5 relief pitchers that just strike out ridiculous amounts of batters. It's retarded what Chris does. But, man, I mean, anybody in their right mind would want this team, like, say, yeah, I could go into the playoffs with these guys and feel pretty comfortable at the position. So anyways, topic that I wanted to talk about. There is a position out there that I feel is almost undervalued. And it's almost one that nobody ever really discusses. Like, to me, in the world of baseball, there may be only 2 to maybe 4 players that I can think of that get discussed with this position. I mean, people say first base, and they say Paul Goldschmidt, Anthony Rizzo, and Joey Votto, and there's a plethora of first basemen, second basemen, third basemen. I mean, you say Brian Dozier, you say Nolan Arenado, Manny Machado, just so many names get mentioned. Outfielders. We all know that there is a surplus of outfielders out there that if you wanted to be like me, you could pick up one and just ride a hot bat at an outfielder's position for a week. Stream outfielders. Pitchers, Lord knows what's going on in the world of baseball with starting pitchers. We've already pretty much touched base on that. We all have mentioned it. We all talk about it. But here it is. Catchers. They are just some unsung heroes, and some of them are overvalued while others are undervalued, but yet they almost play no pivotal role in your lineup on a day-to-day basis. We expect Joey Votto, we expect our first basemen to play. Okay? When we see the little red mark on our starting first baseman, kind of just, damn it, I got to plug the position player in. The guy that's riding the bench, got to plug him in. Outfielders, we flip-flop them out. But when we see a catcher not playing, it's almost like whatever. I get it. It's a very physically demanding. Of all baseball, it's probably the most physically demanding position. Outfielders may go a whole game without even seeing a hit come out to them. Hence, no hitters. Infielders, obviously, the same way there. Which, again, they may have to play a little bit of defense, catching the ball and stuff like that. I get it. But catchers have to pretty much catch every pitch that goes by them. They've got to be on the fly and on the ready for when a runner comes in to hopefully prevent a score. If a ball goes by them, they all adjust very awkwardly. I couldn't imagine standing or kneeling in that position for a long period of time. Some baseball games last 3, 4, 5 hours, and they never change catchers. They'll change base runners, they'll change pitchers, but they don't change catchers. Again, I understand. We all watch baseball. We all understand this. But I did a little research in our league. There are 5 teams in our league. Collectively, they have 17 catchers. How does that even make sense? There's only 12 teams in the league. And yet, there's people sitting out there with 2 catchers on their roster. Granted, I understand. Buster Posey is a position catcher. He can play first base and he can play catcher. I get it. But what I don't understand is why you bitches got to be so greedy. I need a catcher. My catcher don't even play that much. I've dropped a few. I've had a few. But what I'm getting at is that it's an undervalued position. But yet we want a catcher to play every day. So there are teams out there that have pretty much adopted having 2 catchers on their roster. Bench Warmers has 2. Chris Reeder has 2. DL Queen, 2. Captain Redbeard, 2. Never Begged for Headley, 2. I didn't even realize Tripp and Billy. You have 2, but Russell Martin's on the DL. Of all these teams, the highest ranked catcher, which is Buster Posey, he's ranked 157. People would say, "Oh, that's terrible." Not really. When in consideration that the lowest ranked that is on a roster, which apparently I messed something up, but I put 567, but that's not true. Chris will be the first to tell you he doesn't value catchers. For the reason being that they don't play every day. Whereas people like Robbie apparently do. Because he has 2, Matt Wieters, James McCann. Switch them out. Now, granted, might have to play one over the other unless you plug one into your utility spot. If, that one's hot or whatever. But again, what I'm saying is that it's a commodity that teams value in the world of baseball. But in the world of fantasy baseball, we almost kind of just move along. We're not really there's a few catchers that people will trade for. Buster Posey, Salvador Perez, Yadier Molina. Others were happy with riding one guy and letting him play only 2 days a week. So we've come to a numbness, really, with catchers, where we're just if they don't show up, they don't show up. If they don't play, they don't play. I want my position players and my outfielders, I want them to be stout. So, Josh, value your Evan Gattis and your Buster Posey. Putting up some pretty good numbers from a catcher's standpoint. But all in all, it is not easy holding on to a catcher, getting a good catcher. For instance, Jonathan Lucroy. He was preseason ranked at 78. If I remember correctly, he went in the first round because I nominated him. Eric got him. Eric hasn't gotten rid of him because he's holding on. But he is ranked 791 in Yahoo Leagues. He has 7 runs, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, has an on-base percentage of .311. Now look at the guy that's backing him up, Robinson Chirinos, and look at his stats. That dude has only made contact with the ball 11 times, and he has more home runs, and more RBIs. But he's sitting there. Nobody's going to pick him up because they know Jonathan plays more, but yet he's not doing more. One of the reasons why I picked up Avila. He was doing more, but he's not playing as much. Anyways, that was my topic. Maybe I'll see what you guys say. I always like logging on periodically throughout work, seeing if I struck a chord and you guys start talking. I'm not even sure if this 20 minutes even relatively made any sense to what I was trying to bring up. But again, catchers. A lot of teams out there maybe value the position because they want a player in that position every day, because every day is so crucial. Which brings me to my oops. Reader. Oops. You got 2 catchers. Austin Hedges, Yasmani Grandal. They hit you some home runs, buddy. And on both those days, you benched the times when they were hitting home runs. And because of that, those runs and home runs cost you. And what's funny is, on those same days that those two pitchers were on your bench, you had the other one playing. And they didn't get you the home run or stat at all. So you see, if you only had one, would you have won? Food for thought, don't you think? Now, I really actually gave you the oops for benching Shaw that day, that he got 2 runs, a home run, and 4 RBIs. But, again, Yasmani Grandal and Austin Hedges. You play the flip-flop because you're like, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? I don't know. So there's that conflict that goes on. See, we don't do that as much with the Goldies and the Vados. We say, he's playing. But with the catchers, I don't know really what to expect. We want them to do well, but we just don't know. So you bench them, and then you get oopsed. Sucks, man. I feel your pain. We've all been oopsed. Last but not least, who went stupid this week? Mookie Betts. Damn it. He's coming back. Took him a little while. That's all right. Season is long. 8 runs, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, a stolen base, 483 on base percentage. And did anybody see what Alex Wood did? What? I mean, I get the San Francisco's just having a shitty season. Pitching is sucking. Scoring is sucking. Like one of the worst teams in the league. But then to go into Colorado, that dude didn't see an earned run all week. So, could pick up Jason. And maybe you need a catcher. Might want to look at one of two. These two guys are actually doing pretty well on their respective teams, and they're available in our league. Their names are Jet Bandy and Manny Pena. They bat for the Milwaukee Brewers. Both these guys are seeing pretty good at bats, and they have a little bit of power. And again, might be a pretty good look at for some of you teams that only have one catcher. For instance, Jet Bandy, 11 runs, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, and a stolen base. On base percentage of like 329. Manny Pena, 12, 2, 10, 355. So, again, they've been flip-flopping out. But in comparison to Mr. highly ranked Jonathan Lucroy, who has seen more at-bats than Manny Pena and Jet Bandy, I don't know. Now, granted, I wouldn't drop Jonathan Lucroy, and neither will Eric, just on spite. But what's it costing? All these stats sitting out there over a name. Jonathan Lucroy. And others. I just keep mentioning him. I'm not trying to stab at you, Eric. I'm not trying to make you upset. Yours is really the only one that I keep seeing that gets brought up. But just saying, you know. And again, oops. Hope everybody has a good week. I got to give you props, Jason. It wasn't a loss. It was a tie. Could it be a sign of things to come? Congratulations. It's awesome. I would hold my head high and be like, well, bitch, I didn't lose to you. So, maybe next week. I don't know, though. Bill, you got to make some trades or something. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know. Hope everybody has a good week. Happy Mother's